Yeah, so there's so many things wrong with the fast fashion industry. To start with the name, it's just way too fast. So by creating new fads, which are just trends that stay in style for just a few weeks, we're forced into overconsumption in order to stay in style. And it's a never-ending cycle to keep up with these non-stop fashion trends. So one of the biggest problems with the fast fashion industry is that it takes 1,800 gallons of water just to make a pair of jeans. And when you consider how many jeans are sold a year, that's so much water being used. So another shocking fact about the global fast fashion industry is that it emits 1.7 billion tons of CO2 per year, which is more than the amount produced by international flights and maritime shipping combined. Another issue with the fast fashion industry is that the average consumer gets rid of 70 pounds of clothing each year. And people are shocked to hear that 84% will either end up in a landfill where it won't biodegrade or it'll end up being burned.
When you think of climate change and things that are like releasing carbon emissions, you think of big power plants and airplanes. And I read a headline that said like the fashion industry contributes more to carbon emissions than the airline industry and shipping industry combined. And like that statistic was just mind-blowing. And it really like made me realize how big like this industry is. You know, your clothes isn't exactly what you would think about is gonna make such a big impact.
It's just really important for people to like know that the fashion industry has such like bad effects on the environment. I am like have definitely contributed to like fast fashion. It's definitely something you just need to be aware of, and like everyone, like I have a sustainable clothing brand and I still like I'm definitely guilty of it, but I've definitely tried to limit my intake of fast fashion. So basically I think it's just awareness, and I think that no one's perfect. Like everyone's going to buy stuff from Forever 21, but like it's just important to shop sustainably as much as you can. Thrifting is like the most amazing way to help the environment.
I'm super passionate about buying secondhand. I've been trying, nobody's perfect, but I really have been trying, especially this year, to start buying as much as I possibly can secondhand, just because I find it very alarming how much new stuff we create all the time. It seems excessive, and there's so much stuff that still works perfectly fine that you can get secondhand. And I think that the more people are open to coming to events like this or setting up their own, or open to thinking of new creative ways to sell things secondhand, because not everyone loves thrift store experience, the more options there are, I think the better. But I definitely think that this is a really awesome way to help lessen fast fashion.
When I know that like the pieces of clothing that I'm wearing are like not contributing to the complete destruction of the environment, it makes me feel a lot better. And
I think that when I discovered like thrifting and secondhand, it was just kind of freeing, because I didn't have to feel, there is still like, it is still consumption, it is still more, more buying and things, but I think it just gave me a bit more sense of peace to know that at least I was keeping it one step further from the landfill, and that I wasn't as much funding the direct source of just making more and more and more things, And I think like, don't be hard on yourself. It's really hard. This is just the world. It's not marketed to us to buy things secondhand.
There's a lot of fast fashion retail stores that we all shop at, and the hope is that even though a lot of people have turned to thrifting and other alternatives like that, really hasn't been a way to shop in a way that helps the planet and doesn't cause you to sacrifice on something like style or quality.
I think that if we want to, stop fast fashion brands from being so successful, we need to stop buying from them. Because like we can't just say stop. Like we don't have that control, and obviously they're making a lot of money from us being, susceptible to this. Like they're making money from our want for new things.
a lot of people at UCSB are kind of in the mindset of like thrifting, and like we have so many organizations on campus like geared towards environmental stuff. So
definitely, because it's so popular, a lot of people in Isla Vista specifically feel a lot more motivated to buy clothes that they know are reused. And I think just like having the conversation like on social media or like with other students, they seem to be a lot more conscious about where their clothes come from.
I do think that Isla Vista has a really good vibe going on with like the fact that these sorts of things are kind of commonplace and lots of people advertise about them on Facebook and stuff. But I always think there's room for improvement, and it would be really cool if UCSB itself hosted some events that were more, I don't know if they already do, but you know, maybe at the student store had a thrift store going on or something that could just encourage people to be more involved even if they don't have the time to set this up themselves.
It's definitely still pockets of the community that I would say probably partake in buying fast fashion, but like there's also a lot of Isla Vista like organizations. Like I think there's the thrift shop online where they not only sell clothes online secondhand, but they'll give like different infographics on like the effects of fast fashion and like how it hurts the environment. And because there's an environmental scene here too, I think that makes a lot more of an impact. I think there are a lot of conversations going on here, but there could definitely always be more in terms of like direct action that people could take like on an individual scale against fast fashion.